Hi, Tucker. I'm Todd. Hi, Todd. I'm Tucker.
Gentlemen,
I've gathered you here today for marriage.
oh, are we already getting back into that guy?
No, we shove him back into the locker. What is it? A foot locker? What sits at the edge of the foot locker? We shove him back into
That would be a foot locker. We have one now, I guess.
I guess so, and the bed that we didn't have before also.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we live at our studio.
I was sort of imagining like a barracks.
I don't know if we have enough staff to warrant a barracks. We've got a computer that doesn't need to sleep, a little bear person who I'm actually pretty sure is some kind of possessed toy and also probably doesn't need to sleep, and then there's us.
What about all these other characters? I've got a desk full of characters.
They live in their own places.
Oh yeah,
I don't.
they go back to their pocket dimension.
They certainly don't live here. I mean, some of them are not welcome.
Oh, they probably would live in that facility where we broke into, or at least we broke open Section DD.
Oh, so if anything, we've rendered them homeless.
Yeah, I guess so. That is the case.
Oh, I guess it makes sense that they're all really mad at us and turning into a single entity. All right, everybody. Welcome to this week's Writer's Room show. I'm pretty sure we've settled on the topic of the heist at the Podcast Farmers Market.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think the episode title is going to be Tucker and Todd Write a Halloween Special.
That's kind of the objective.
Yeah, that's our objective for today. And it's going to be, kind of a clue. So here's the question. Have you seen the movie Dogville?
I have not, but I have seen the movie Clue. But it was like 10 years ago, so I count that as research for right now.
Okay, that is good research. It's been a while since I saw Clue also. Did you also rent multiple copies of it to see all of the endings?
No, because by the time I watched it, it was available on streaming services.
Oh. How did they do that? Did they just put all of the endings in the stream?
No, they just gave me one ending and I had to be okay with that, and then YouTube helped me with the rest.
Oh, that makes sense. I guess that works, yeah.
So here's an interesting question I think will kind of set the tone for the rest of the episode before we begin. Are we going to be suspects, or are we going to be victims, or are we going to be both?
Oh, that's interesting. I really hadn't thought about it because we definitely wouldn't be like protagonists. We wouldn't be detectives.
No. I kind of have my heart set on Columbo being the detective and also definitely being corrupt and deliberately misleading the investigation. But we definitely happen to have a couple of sleuths at a nearby booth, the sleuth booth, if you will, who run a podcast based on detective stories, and they are actually halfway competent, and I think they should be in direct competition with Columbo.
That's actually so funny. Do they do specifically detective stories, or are we kind of memeing on the fact that there are so many two ladies doing a true crime detective podcast right now?
I mean, it could be 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It could be both.
That's interesting. Booth.
I also
Booth is a good name for the show.
I absolutely support the sleuth booth being ladies.
And they hate the couple across the row in the slut hut,
who are also ladies, and ladies are gonna fight, and that's okay, but it's none of our business.
Is the Slut Hut a hot tub stream podcast?
Yeah, naturally. Which means that just about everybody is vaguely uncomfortable with it, including themselves probably when they think about it, when they're home alone at night after the show's over, and they get to think about it as they lie down in their bed made of money.
I think that the Slut Hut might actually be a podcast that's operated on the Thought Yacht.
Well, of course, that's where I think we've condemned all of our hot tub streamers to be.
So that's where they come from. Okay, so my question regarding Dogville was, Dogville is a movie that takes place on a soundstage, and so it takes place in a town, but the town is just chalk outlines on a black soundstage. Do we want to do an episode of Clue on a Clue board?
I mean, how would we work the clue board into it? That I'm not denying that we could. I just help me wrap my head around it because it sounds like it would make the setting more interesting.
Well, I'm wondering if perhaps the because we had said that
Hmm.
I'm having too many thoughts at once. We were saying that this was going to be a farmer's market in like some sort of gymnasium or rec hall, right?
Yeah, it has to be in a building. Although if it's in a building with a more complicated floor plan, that will make things more interesting, probably. Although way less appropriate for a farmer's market because a wide open space is usually what you want.
There's a possibility that this gymnasium or this rec hall could have been built on top of the house that used to be the Clue house, and so we have all of our booths set up, and we have a shot of that of some sort of arm sweeping the booths away to play. I don't know, to play on the Clue set, going from room to room. Maybe that doesn't work. Was there like a ballroom or anything like that on the Clue board?
I mean, I'm sure there was some kind of central foyer for sure.
I'm pulling it up. There is. Oh yeah, there's a ballroom. Is the farmers market in the ballroom?
I think it would be safe for most of it to be there. Now, I have been to like a winter market. It wasn't really a farmer's market, but it was run by the same people, and it was more like a craft show market. But it was in an entire school, so it was in a whole bunch of different adjacent rooms in the gymnasium, and like it was throughout the entire building.
Yeah,
And
I've
I
been
think
to.
if we have to wander hallways to go from place to place, for instance, the cast could be arranged in rooms by theme, just to spread it out and our give us an opportunity for the Scooby Doo hallway chase.
I like the idea of the Scooby Doo hallway chase. I'm obsessed with the clue board thing, and I also do like the idea of a market that's set out throughout. Because I've been to like a craft or like an art market. The Market Collective is an art market that used to happen in various locations around town, and one of them was like an old school from the 30s. So each classroom had a different couple of booths set up inside, and you would wander through the halls. And so I kind of like that idea. If we have a farmer's market or I don't know, maybe doesn't have to necessarily. Is it specifically farm? It's a podcast market. It's a podcast
Yeah,
fair.
it's a fair or a market. Farmers market was just what came to my mind as a general descriptor, but it's obviously there's no vegetables there.
Except for the podcast that's done about what's it called? Fuck, I really wish I was quicker with that. I needed
Stephen
veg
Hawking.
Stephen Hawking, yeah, is the reference. A dead guy.
You're a regular walking, talking Stephen Hawking.
That's a good name for a band.
That's a terrible name for a band.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Walking Talking Stephen Hawkings.
Yeah, I don't. Stephen Hawking would not have found that very funny.
I don't know what he found funny. Did he have a sense of humor?
I have no idea.
Cue Craig
Ha ha
laughing
ha
in
ha
his
ha ha
TTS
ha ha
voice.
ha.
Anyways, we have this podcasters fair, which is in an old house, and then we only realize later. Do we ever realize that it's the Clue house? Here's a question: Are
It
any
doesn't. We
of
don't have to realize that it's the Clue House. It could be that Clue isn't even a thing in our little universe, and that's what makes this the real Clue.
okay? That's fun. So because that was part of my other curiosity was, do we have characters that are dressed up as I proposed instead of like Mrs. White, who is a maid? We have Skylar from Breaking Bad, who's Mrs. White, and we have kind of like plays on the Clue character names as people dressed up as costumes, or are we just ignoring the Clue characters altogether?
No, I think that's actually very clever if we do like a play on each one of these characters, because it also will go a long ways towards giving us ideas of how to dress up an entire ensemble cast in
We
Halloween
have
costumes.
Mrs. Peacock is just a dick with piss coming out, but the whole thing is blurred.
That might be taking it a little too far.
Okay. You say peacock and everybody's fine, but you say poopcock and everyone loses their minds.
I don't know. I always laugh every time it happens to me. Happened again.
Oops.
Yeah, oopsie.
Okay. Clue
Okay,
characters.
yeah, Clue characters, but like plays on their names. I like the idea of Skylar White showing up as Mrs. White.
Oh, did you know they added 4 additional suspects?
I did not know, but the more the merrier.
Miss Peach, Monsieur Brunette, Madame Rose or Rosé, and Sergeant Grey.
If it's got an accent over the E, it might be rosé.
There's no accent.
Well, that's too bad because she's now going to be a bottle of rosé wine.
Okay. What is Miss Scarlet?
Obviously, she is a lipstick.
A lipstick or covered in scars?
That's dark. But then
Oh,
she's just Miss Scars. Where's the
no,
Scarlet?
she's an actress. Oh, she's the Black Dahlia murder. She's a starlet covered in scars. She's a Scarlet.
Oh, okay. You know what? That's great.
These are fun. This is where I excel, I think.
One day we'll find where I excel.
Colonel Mustard.
Oh, I don't know. Technically, that since we already have a Colonel Sanders character as the mayor of our town, I think that should be him, and
Okay, he's the
he
colonel.
should show up.
As a mouse turd.
Wow. I don't know. That might be a little too tough to get.
Colonel Mouse Turd. He's just a big turd. Then how are you a mouse turd? He's covered in mouse turds. Mustard. That's dangerous.
Yeah, exceptionally so. I don't know. I don't think it has to be perfectly punny. We could just actually have him show up. He could be played straight. He could show up as a French's bottle of mustard.
Oh, that works too. I was gonna say that he's running back. He's holding a muster point sign, and he's running back out of breath. And he's like, "Sorry, I was just mustering." He's Colonel Mustard.
Ah, he's mustard now.
You know, he's been truly mustard.
The Colonel's mustard.
Mrs. White is Skylar White. Unless you have something better than that, I felt that it was pretty good.
No, I think that's fine, especially because it's an opportunity for us to have Walter White show up at some point.
All mad, you fucked Ted.
It's also an opportunity for Ted to show up, I suppose, yes.
With his head all bashed in. Oh, he's a zombie. It's Halloween.
Ted's dead, baby. Ted's dead.
Okay, what is Mrs. Peacock then?
All I know is that I see her in like a huge headdress.
Oh. Interesting. She's like, what is the ho green giant? She's something to do with the green giant with a headdress, or is it something to do with a chicken?
I think we should go checking.
I guess that's literally what a peacock is a rooster of peas.
Yes, the peahen would be the lady version, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take peacocks back for the ladies.
We're taking peacocks back for the ladies. Okay.
But to me, that means she's got to have like an obnoxious headdress.
What style of headdress?
Well, I am thinking peacock style, which means it's going to be wide, big, and tall around, which means she needs to be short and she needs to have trouble getting into doorways.
Okay. Professor Plum. Is there anything that you can do with Plum?
Yeah, have somebody hit him right in the balls. Right in the plums.
Professor Plums.
Oh, right in my Professor Plums.
Oh, or is he a plumber?
Oh, that's better. But I still think he should get hit in the balls.
Yeah, definitely.
He should still get hit in the balls and, oh, my Professor Plums.
It's a moment, but not a theme. Unless it happens frequently. That could be fun.
That's probably one of those one and done jokes, but I do think that he should be a plumber. That's very good.
At some point, is Tucker going to say that he's plum tuckered out?
He might tuck that one away for later.
Okay, here's the 4 additional ones. Those are those ones down. Miss Peach. That could be Princess Peach.
Yeah, Miss Peach. I mean, who wouldn't want to go for Halloween as Princess Peach?
Oh, I guess we are going to have to figure out. So we are right now, we've been describing costumes, not necessarily who's in them. Colonel Sanders is Colonel Mustard. Do we know who? Oh, I forgot Mr. Green. This is Reverend Green, but they changed it to Mr. Green.
Probably because the last guy molested too many kids.
Oh boy, could that be a reference that we make? What happened? Oh,
I'm
Mr.
afraid-
Green. I see Mr. Green's here. What happened to the good Reverend? Oh, he got a little handsy, if you know what I mean. And then we'd immediately cut to the next thing.
Okay, if we handle it like that, then I'm perfectly happy to do it. Like, no further explanation needed kind of delivery.
Yeah. Monsieur Brunette? I mean...
This is kind of like Miss Peacock, where they're just mixing up these... Monsieur Brunette. Well, he's going to have to be egregiously French, so We'll give him a cigarette stem and everything. No, I know which character it's going to be too.
Oh, okay.
It's in fact going to be Annabelle, Blackbush the Dread Pirate, dressed as a man, because we've already
As
established that she is in fact French.
Oh, okay. And then she's dyed her hair brown, so she's Monsieur Brunette. That's her.
Yes, and she's come as a man, and in fact this time she's actually dressed up like an old timey pirate.
Or do we make a reference to that? Her hair is still black, and we're like, you were supposed to make it brown, and she's like, yar yar, I'll never dye my hair brown.
Well, no, she can dye her hair brown. She just won't dye the bush,
Okay, of course.
which there will still be a merkin on her costume.
Oh, that's important, of course. Yeah,
Yeah, the black one.
it's her trademark.
Blackbush the Dread Pirate Man. Tonight, Monsieur Burnett.
Okay, Madame Rose. I know you had already made a reference to, but now that I've said it, Madame Rose could have cornrows.
Oh, Madame Rose. Okay, how do we want to do the cornrows, and how comfortable are you with trying to draw something like that?
I don't think that's too difficult.
All right, Madame Rose.
Is it Charlize Theron from that not Final Fantasy? What's it called? Fast and the Furious with the cornrows.
Well, I mean, for each of these, we do need to be thinking of a sort of theme that we could make a costume around. What else can we give her?
I guess you could have other rows, something to do with Excel spreadsheet.
So we'll give her cornrows, and then she'll be dressed as like a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not arguing. I think that's funny, but remember the rule of threes. She needs at least one more kind of row.
True.
Oh,
is
she has a
go
couple
ahead.
of oars or something.
A couple what?
Oars. Maybe she's
Oh,
got
she rows.
she's a rowboat.
That is funny. Yeah, because people wear those costumes that like make them look like they're riding on a thing or that they're in a thing. She can look like she's in like a boat. That's
Yeah,
funny.
like just like a little canoe or something. Just like she's got it on her waist, just a little inflatable canoe.
That's better than what I was gonna say. I was gonna say
What were you
that
gonna say?
she's on platform shoes, and so she is slightly because she's
Oh,
every time
she
she's a
is
rose.
risen, but she's rose.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so I get it. I guess like she'll be a spreadsheet with cornrows that happens to be rowing with an oar in a canoe.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've done the shit out of that one. next?
Literally. The last one is Sergeant Gray.
Okay. Well, I guess he's gonna have to be a military fella. Oh, should we do the super cliche cigar chomping flat top kind of high and tight actually got gray haired drill sergeant guy, or should we subvert it and have it be somebody who I guess we could call more feminine, not necessarily even a woman?
Oh, that's interesting. I would multiple things. Plays with Sergeant. I was gonna say that he is a drill, or the first thing that came to mind when he's gray, I thought maybe this might be Ed the Sock or some version of a sock puppet.
And is this person actually
Since you said
just
Charmin.
is this person actually colorless?
Oh, isn't that a thing from a thing? The Greys? Weren't there characters called the Greys?
I thought those were the aliens.
Oh yeah, that is the aliens. Is it a cigar chomping alien?
Does he still have a high and tight?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't see why not. He can. That Sergeant Gray. Halloween is a good time for aliens.
And maybe he actually does have some sort of ties to Area 51 or something like that.
Okay, so we've got some of our cast. Those will be other operators of podcast booths, I assume.
Well, okay, so that is a question I was going to ask. Those are clue characters. Those can be people that are part of the booths. Some of them could be our cast, but
Not everybody needs to be from a booth either. There will be people here who are going from booth to booth shopping. We will have shoppers.
I know that we had talked about Craig being Compy 386 and Stan was going to be Strong Bad, I believe.
I love that idea so much. If we don't do it, I might kill myself.
We're doing it. I don't know. We have to save you every week.
Oh God, help me.
Tucker and Todd. Okay, so shall we start going through our main cast and figuring out what their costumes are then?
It's probably a good idea. Tucker and Todd, I still haven't thought of anything because in my mind they're always in costume already. So now we have to put them in a new one.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I had proposed Jack and Daxter. Do we want to get that one out of the way? Because I don't really have a plot idea for that premise.
You don't have to have none of the Halloween costumes have to actually be in any way related to the plot. Everybody's
Yeah,
just
precisely.
dressed up as what they want to dress up as. And anybody who comes in a reasonable pair, coming off with paired costumes, is even better.
I feel like we had suggested a few maybe because there are so many tall and short duos.
Well, yeah, we could always go after Moose and Squirrel, or we could be Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Is that a
Funny,
joke
the
that
funny
comes
thing
up?
is the villains and the heroes of that show are both tall and short pairs.
That's true. I was going to ask, at one point we had met. Did we meet literally Boris and Natasha, or were they just like Boris and Natasha? Oh no, that was within a game. Too many
Yeah, that
layers
was
of
that was our
fantasy.
they were our D&D characters. We were playing despots and shit, I forget the other D.
Despots and dictators, I believe.
Right. And they were our avatars in the game, and I think they're the ones who opened up that facility we were talking about.
So that could sort of make sense. Hey, remember when we played those Boris and Natasha characters? Let's be Moose and Squirrel. We don't say Rocky and Bullwinkle, we just say Moose and Squirrel.
Yeah, with like a bit of a Slavic accent. Moose and Squirrel. Moose and Squirrel.
Are we? But
I'm gonna
when,
offend absolutely everybody if I have to do that.
do Slavic people get offended? Are they offended now that I've said that?
No, they don't. They're not. They're not fragile. They're some of the toughest people on earth.
Okay, so
They
Tucker and Todd,
they, they reserve their offense for stuff that's actually important.
hopefully. Tucker and Todd are Moose and Squirrel.
Yeah, I guess it's fair that we should retire Boris and Natasha unless we want to use them again. In which case, then we'd have those characters made.
Or would you prefer to use them for this one?
It depends on how badly you want Todd to be Natasha.
Well, so do you think that Columbo has something to do with the thing that happened, and he is purposely? I hate when people say purposely. He is deliberately,
Just fully.
purposefully, and deliberately and intentionally uh, obfuscating the process.
Yes, he's trying to run a cover up.
So, are we participating? Are we actually interested in what's going on, or are we kind of in the background, and we're like, no, we don't want to do anything with that. That's lame.
Well, we are involved, but mostly because whatever happens starts immediately disrupting the entire market. I'm going to assume that we're not doing any business. Nobody's coming by the booth with much interest. So we're like, this looks more interesting.
Well, I'm
So
assuming that when the person is murdered, that that like all the lights will chunk off for a couple minutes, and there will be a scream, and then they'll all come back on. Some people will be in funny arrangements because they thought it would last longer.
now I've got a slight counter to that because I think there should be a theft first.
Oh, okay.
The murder is actually to cover up the theft.
Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah, I like that.
So there's a theft first, and then people start being like, "Oh, well, my something's missing. Oh, well, my XYZ thing is missing. Oh yeah, well, my thing is also missing." Like lots of people have had something stolen from their booths, and once everybody starts getting a little bit worked up about it, then the lights get terminated. They get shut off. Then there's, the sound of breaking glass. There's a scream. Then the lights come back on. Somebody's been found dead, and now everybody's preoccupied with the dead person and nobody's paying attention to the theft.
Okay, should we decide now who the victim is going to be? Or do we want to determine first what
Oh,
Columbo's whole
I
scheme is
already
gonna
know who the victim is.
be? Okay.
Skylar White.
Oh,
I want to
perfect.
kill her. You want to kill her. Everybody wants to kill her. We're going to do it. We're going to kill Skylar
Is it in the middle of her having some hysterical? Is she in the middle of one of her hysterical Skylar White speeches?
White. Fuck Ted.
Oh, when the lights go off, we hear her screaming, "I fucked Ted!" Then there's a bang.
What kind of bang though? Is it a gunshot? Is it like the sound of somebody being beaten across the head with a golf trophy?
Is the murder weapon going to be one of the murder weapons from the Clue game?
Naturally, it could be a candlestick, but it's missing. There's like a table with like a dust print, or rather the absence of dust on it, where there used to be a murder weapon. We have to track it down.
Okay. Let me remind myself of the weapons.
The joke is that every single one of them was used. Skylar is
On one
fucked up.
person, she's a knife, an axe, a wrench, a rope, a bomb, poison, revolver, lead pipe, candlestick, and syringe. I don't remember some of those. I think I
Yes,
got the kids version.
Skylar is fucked up.
She's messed up. This was all done by Columbo.
She's been mangled. Yeah, but Walter White is there and he's a suspect.
Wowee.
But yes, I think Columbo probably did the murder because somebody got a little too close to the solution to the thefts. So obviously that would be the sleuth booth. They start investigating the thefts almost immediately, which is going to put a wrench in Columbo's plans. So Columbo puts a wrench in Skylar White.
Oh, that's funny. Are all of the things that go missing actually the weapons? So each booth one loses a knife, one loses an axe, one loses a revolver.
Well, why would Columbo try to, rather not Columbo, why would the thief want all those things? Like, that's the thing here is we need to kind of assign significance to what gets stolen.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's kind of true. Okay, yeah, I would like to figure out. So was Columbo there specifically just to steal things from podcasters? What could he stand to gain?
He's not stealing. He's just covering up the theft.
Oh, so somebody that he knows is stealing.
It might be one of his fishermen. It might be an associate. It might just be somebody who's managing to amuse Columbo with their antics, and he's decided to shield them from consequences. His motivations are as of yet unclear.
Oh, here I forgot for a moment that there was a period of time at which we discussed that Columbo is actually an eldritch horror.
Oh yeah, he definitely still is, but he's like the Nyarlathotep one where he takes human form. And he interacts with humans. That's the only eldritch abomination that really likes to do that.
So could he be sympathetic to some other like black magic that is some other creature that is here that he's like, oh, I liked that you said, I think you said amused by, right? That was your word.
Yeah.
I'm kind of drawn to that he comes across.
If you're an ancient and immortal being, you're probably fucking bored all the time. So as soon as something manages to successfully entertain you, it's a good thing.
Okay, so is this some sort of
I also kind of assign him a bit of Hannibal Lecter's personality from the TV show, where his justification for standing back and doing nothing sometimes is that he wanted to see what would happen.
Do you imagine that the person who is doing the thieving is one of the characters that we've described having a costume for already? Is it one of the clue characters? Are we ever actually going to solve this, by the way?
Do you consider solving it and catching the perpetrator to necessarily be the same thing?
I'm not sure.
If we know what's been stolen, where it is, who stole it and why, is it solved even if we don't catch the thief?
Oh, yeah, I think so. That I'm okay with solving it, but not catching.
Now, suppose we remove one of those things where we don't quite have a positive ID on the thief because the thief was in costume and we never saw them again. At least not that night. I have a plan for the thief.
Okay.
But I don't know if it counts as a spoiler if I bring it up too early.
A spoiler? Don't we need spoilers to help connect the story together?
True. The thief is Paperboy.
Oh. And Columbo would be highly entertained by that.
Yes, he would, because now normally Eldritch Abominations don't really get along because they tend to step on each other's toes. But Columbo's bored and he's interested in seeing what would happen if he lets Paperboy get away with this.
And he might also know something. He might know that Tucker and Todd need to defeat Paperboy in order for something that he wants to see occur. Like he needs to let fate see its way through a little bit.
Well, he's definitely pretty protective of us, and Paperboy is kind of in our way. Technically, we're in Paperboy's way, but there's going to be a confrontation there. But for now, Columbo will be happy to just watch things unfold.
Is Paperboy going to be dressed up in a costume and we are going to encounter him but not know who he is? Or is he going to be sneaking around in the background?
I think he should be in a costume, and he should shake our hands. I think we should fail to recognize him for what he is completely. Like, we need to look right into his eyes and fail to see what's there.
Oh, so here's a proposal then. Rather than us being Moose and Squirrel, are we dressed as Natasha and Boris, and he comes into us dressed as Rocky?
But who's Bullwinkle?
Yeah, I guess he needs to be. I'm just trying to make him a small, like a little kid
However,
character.
if we're dressed as Boris and Natasha, he will super recognize us because that's what we were looking like the first time he ever saw us.
Oh, right. No kidding. That's true.
Which would make it an interesting sort of connection there. Maybe he should be dressed as the Missing No from Pokemon Blue.
The what from Pokemon Blue?
The Missing No. Didn't you ever see that thing? That was the glitched out Pokemon.
Oh, no, I don't think I know.
That was what let you use a bug to duplicate your items.
Oh, I've never heard of that. The old man glitch. Okay, so he is there. You sent me some.
That's what it looks like. That's what the Missing No looks like.
Oh, well, that's horrifying.
Game bugs scare me, man. They're creepy.
I don't like that. It's not a real part of the game.
Yeah, no, it's a bugged up piece. It's all screwed up. And it's just supposed to be like a missing number.
Okay. Well, that would make sense, I guess, to sort of what he is.
He's a glitch.
And spookily enough, right at that moment, Todd's audio glitched.
I must have lost you there for a minute.
Oh, I don't know what happened. It's a glitch.
Yeah, I got glitched. What did I miss?
Oh, I was saying just that could be a joke, that if he's dressed as the Missing No, it could be the trope of people being, oh, what are you supposed to be? And he's like, I'm obviously the Missing No. And they're like, the what? And he's like, never mind.
Yeah, and I did hear that and I was following up. He would have to ask if they've ever played Pokemon Blue, and if they haven't, he'd just say he's a glitch. I'm a glitch. A what? Never mind.
There's always somebody that lies and said they did, even though they didn't.
I don't know. You didn't know about it. Did you play Pokemon Blue?
I played one of the first ones. I think it was Red, though.
I don't think the bug was present in Red.
And it was way behind too. I played it in like 2016 on my brother's SP.
Oh, never mind. It was in Red.
Well, either way, that is who Paperboy is. And I was going to ask, is he stealing things? The things he's stealing, do they have something to do with his revenge? He's stealing items that he can turn into a super weapon or something?
That's what I was going to ask as well, is because he needs a reason, of course. These items that he's stealing have to be useful in some way to him. So not only do they have to be useful, he needs a use for them. So what kind of items would a bunch of podcast hosts bring to a market that would be useful to a supervillain?
I mean, like podcast hosts, if they are they podcasting while they're at this fair? Is that the idea that I think we had discussed that they've each got a little booth set up that is sort of themed around what their show is?
They do have themed booths, but one thing that they are doing is the old-fashioned trying to sell CDs and stuff. They are selling recorded casts.
Okay.
Because our setting is anachronistic, because we're doing digital recording, but people still go out and sell things in hard copies.
Oh, is this the same thing where I said there's like the hipster corner where they've got those old like acrylic cylinders?
Yes. There's definitely going to be a hipster booth, and everybody is going to sneer at them.
But I think they would definitely be, because of their speciality, would have some sort of objects that would be desirable for whatever Paperboy is constructing.
Yes, absolutely, including their goofy little cylinders.
Especially since he is old-timey.
Yes, he is. Maybe he wants to fashion some kind of interesting radio device that will allow him to mind control people.
Oh. Or... because what is his final goal? Is he still trying to fully manifest himself?
Well, he wants to finish eating or absorbing the L. Hubbard creature. He got some of him. He wants to get the rest. But for the most part, his biggest and most overriding goal is to destroy Tucker and Todd. But he needs to equip himself to do that because, well, remember, the universe is on our side, and so is Columbo, kind of.
Well, now I almost think is it like one of those kind of like I'm not thinking of the word, but we're like, instead of stealing all these pieces to build a weapon to use against us, he just comes to the fair, and rather than stealing from everyone, he simply just steals all of our CDs because he thinks that's the biggest way. Now we won't have any CD sales.
Nobody was even coming to our booth anyway.
That's sad.
He might be the only person who comes to the booth. That way, that's how we meet him.
Okay. Yeah, in which case he's the only one that comes. If he's the only one that comes to our booth, do we have anything stolen from us then, or are we the only ones that don't have anyone stolen, and then we get blamed right away because of that?
That's more interesting. Then we become suspects.
Right, because we know that only one person came to our booth all night, and we haven't had anything stolen.
And then we're being watched much more closely, except then a murder occurs shortly afterwards, and we're nowhere near it.
Right. Okay, that's a good idea. Are we not even in the room? How do we prove we? Because we have to definitely be not the ones that did it.
No, it'll be in a separate room. You and I are, of course, together. We're at our booth in one of the rooms that's on the other side of the house from where Skylar White gets wrecked.
With every weapon imaginable.
With every weapon imaginable.
We
None of
bring-
which are left behind.
Can we bring Columbo over? Can you identify the murder weapon? And he's just like, no.
Didn't we agree Columbo's the one who killed her?
He is the one, but we also want him to solve it because he's the detective that we know.
Don't worry, everybody. We know
right,
a
you said
detective.
sleuths. Right. You said, wait, who is the detective? He's the detective.
Don't worry, everybody. We know a detective. We don't trust those booth sleuths. They're not real detectives.
No, they're amateurs.
They are savants. They're highly skilled amateurs.
Well, they
They're
have a
on-
published book,
They're only amateurs in the sense that they do not do it professionally.
but they still get paid for their opinion, and they have a British Podcasting Award for People's Choice.
Fine, but that still doesn't make them real detectives.
No, I agree.
Now we're having an in-character conversation.
Is that what this is becoming? I'm
yeah.
defending them.
That's how it starts.
Even though they're blaming, that's funny. They're accusing us, and then you're saying you're trying to discredit them, and I'm trying to talk them up.
I don't know if the sleuths would blame us. They probably don't see any evidence that actually really links us to it. Because us not having anything stolen is purely circumstantial. It's entirely possible we just don't have anything worth stealing. But everybody else definitely blames us at first. The sleuths get too close to the truth over the course of their own investigation, and that's when Columbo kills Skylar White.
Oh, okay.
Now, here's probably the most important question of the entire night. What's Columbo's costume?
Oh, we haven't said it all, have we?
No, we haven't.
Oh, I mean, is he Walter White?
Interesting. Does that mean he came here with Skylar? She's his date. That makes her the perfect person for him to murder because he'd be the last suspect.
But
I mean,
then
everybody,
again, the husband is
everybody,
always the first suspect.
everybody likes to assume the husband is the first suspect, but that's in a domestic altercation rather than when they go out to a date together in a public place.
That's true, and also
But then why would we ask him to investigate it? That
because he is
conflict
Columbo.
of interest.
He
Not
flips
that we respect that kind of shit.
he flips his pork pie hat upside down, and it's his detective hat. Columbo doesn't have a detective hat; he's just got hair.
Yeah, he flips it upside down and it's just hair.
That's pretty funny.
Because Walter White is bald.
Oh yeah, would he be wearing a bald cap instead? Because he's not Heisenberg. He's Walter White, so he's wearing a bald cap, and so he pulls his bald cap off to reveal his hair. I don't know.
I like the idea that he flips it upside down.
So is he dressed as Heisenberg then?
Oh man, now I am actually having trouble deciding why we would let him investigate this. Why we wouldn't assume it was him.
Yeah, I feel like
It's probably better if they have nothing to do with each other.
I was just trying to make it something because I couldn't think of anything to do with the plot. Is he dressed up as something to do with the plot that we already have, or is he dressed up as something that Columbo would like?
Maybe he should just be dressed up as Grandpa.
Oh, just as like a cute little thing.
Princess Bride Grandpa.
Oh, he's dressed up as Wesley.
Oh, you think he should be somebody else from The Princess Bride instead of the other
one of my favorite
that he played?
characters.
Marriage.
That's funny.
Okay, Columbo can come as anybody from The Princess Bride.
Oh, there's a Columbo board game. Is he dressed up as his Milton Bradley Columbo board game character?
Is his Milton Bradley Columbo board game character significantly different from Columbo?
No. But I feel like there should be some sort of reference here to the fact that he knows a lot about board games or something. Something about Clue, and I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Or do we know that? We're like, Columbo, you had a detective board game or a mystery board game or something like that.
Maybe he should just come dressed as Peter Falk.
Does he say he's Peter Falk? What are you dressed as? I'm Peter Falk.
That would be kind of funny, but probably only for a minute. Columbo is hard to place.
I mean, if he was Grandpa, he'd have the hat, and then we could do the hat flip gag.
Yeah, he does have the hat.
And he does the little wink at the screen.
Yeah, I think, especially because I think Grandpa shows up at another point in the show because he was just telling the story about those two guys having a duel all through the mall and the city.
Yeah, that's true.
We like to reuse that stuff. So, yeah, I think he should be Grandpa.
Okay. We could keep that all because we kind of said this is separate from canon, right? But now it's not because it has baby.
Yeah,
Boomer.
it's not. Now it is definitely part of.
Okay, forget that. The canon is that when Grandpa was telling that best man story, that was Columbo dressed as that grandpa, and he comes to this party because he's still in the makeup from that episode.
Well, yeah, he figured everybody's going to be in costume. Why bother changing out of it?
Yeah, I was already in a costume.
If you're not careful, you're going to take over Columbo voices.
That's not the Columbo.
Is that a voice exercise?
As you wish.
One more thing.
I have to say that I think the hardest that I laugh at any point during the Fargo Cop sketch is when your when your voice cracks reading the line. Technically, there's a prison cell for you back there. I laugh so hard; it sounds so much like the characters that we want them to be. I don't know.
I didn't mean to do that.
I think that's probably what makes it funny. It makes it funniest because there's also a part of me that assumes that you're sitting there going, "Fuck, I hate that my voice broke."
It was good enough for one take, so that'll do.
Yeah. Okay. So Grandpa's here. We run. Are we referring to him Grandpa up until the person dies and we run to him, Grandpa? We need you to be Columbo.
Do we call anybody else by their costume?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, should we continue going through the rest of our cast now that we got a bit of plot and giving other cast members costumes, or do we have other?
That's probably a good idea. Is if we give people costumes, we can kind of decide where we want them to fit in as we go.
Yeah, we had said that Miranda would be there, I believe.
Oh, absolutely, she's got to be there. Probably not working a cast, or maybe she is because she wants to be a singer. Maybe she's working a booth of her own, trying to sell some albums.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay.
And they're all terrible. It's just moo.
So is she in some sort of singer costume then?
Oh, she's Cher.
Perfect. Okay.
Obviously, she's got to be Cher.
Moo.
What a cow.
What a cow. What a heifer.
Okay. Moving on. Man, Miranda was easy. I wish everybody else was that easy to figure out.
Okay, as we said, we have Craig and Stan. Other cast members. I mean, we have so many people at this point.
Yeah, but are any of them real standout characters that I remember?
I guess because I'm about to open. That's sort of the main. That's sort of the main crew. Let me take a peep. Oh, do we want our Fargo cops there dressed as somebody else?
Oh, you know who a couple of Fargo cops would dress as? They would dress as buddy cops from Lethal Weapon or something because they would dress as cops that they idolize.
Oh, I like that idea. Yeah, as what's his name and Murtaugh. I can't remember both of them.
Except that they're both white guys, and I don't want either of them to dress as Mel Gibson.
All right, they are both white guys.
Yeah, so not only do I not trust either of them to try to dress like Danny Glover, but I don't want Mel Gibson anywhere near this.
That's a fair point. Okay, let's make them. Are they?
They do need to be buddy cops of some kind.
Well, do we want to make them Thompson and Thompson from Tintin?
Well, if we don't want them to be doing their idols, they can. I mean, they're already practically identical, so.
Yeah, pretty much. I figured those are the characters that inspired them to do their job. Straight
Two incompetent detectives. Yeah, that's perfect.
I'm gonna ask Jess if she has a costume that she would want straight woman to wear.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Other characters. Do we want to use any of our children, non-children, our best man, the fisherman?
Oh, male cop needs to be here.
Okay.
I think he's one of the characters that we've devoted the most talking time to.
I guess kind of in a way. Male cop. Is he dressed postal related or is he trying to get away from that?
He's trying to get away from it. It's Halloween. And also, he ordered a costume so that he could just be a letter for Halloween, but it never came. Can't rely on the mail.
He rolls his eyes. Fucking mail system.
So what would he be in lieu of that?
Is there something that's the opposite of mail? I guess opposite of post? He's something digital.
No, he comes as an email. He just comes as the @ sign.
Or is the Twitter bird?
Ah, didn't we already have the Twitter bird involved in something?
Yeah, we had kind of a premise for something that never got turned into anything, I don't think.
Speaking of which, if Jess can't come up with anything for straight woman, I immediately advocate Bridget Mouse.
Bridget who?
Bridget, she is a mouse.
Oh, Bridget Mouse.
Although that might be a little too
From
obscure.
American Tail?
Yeah, might be a little too obscure.
You mean My Sexual Awakening as a child?
Okay, never mind. I withdraw my suggestion. I just thought it was funny because she's Irish.
Is straight woman Irish?
No, but doing an Irish voice is fun.
Oh, of course, it's always fun. Bridget Mouse, that's funny. And who was that? That was the now you're. I'm flabbergasted. I'm Twitter pated.
I mean, I watched An American Tail many times as a child, but all it did was open me up to biker mice from Mars.
Biker Mice from Mars. I've heard of that. Was that in the trailers or something like that?
No.
Oh, they're not in any way related. You're just saying that watching the mice prepared you for more mice.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like gateway mice.
Oh, I think. Never mind. I was gonna make a xenophobic joke, but we don't need any more of those.
Certainly not.
Okay, did we come up with the character? Are we saying the @ sign or something futuristic? Some
I
of
think
these
the @
characters.
sign would be a good one.
Is Matthew McConaughey there?
Oh gosh.
Basil
If he shows up-
Fawlty?
If he shows, I would love it if Basil showed up because he's already in costume as a zombie hunter.
Yeah.
Halloween? What's that?
Oh, do we have any? Since this is like a Halloween episode, I guess it's Halloween episode. Everybody's in costume. Do we have any more spooky stuff going on other than the fact that like some sort of mystical entity used every single weapon on Skylar White?
I mean, there is definitely an opportunity for us to do like cheap laughs type scares. Like, for instance, if we open up a wardrobe, but like we only open one door of a wardrobe and it actually, in big white text on the back of the wardrobe, it says boo, but then we open the other door and it says books or something like that. Like, lots of opportunities for us to see the word boo.
Oh, I understand. And then it's like obscured by things. What that was? I was just watching Dirk Gently. They did that. I feel like Exterminator, or what was it? There was a van with a sign on it, and then it said one word, and then they close the door, and then it says another. I can't remember, but those kind of gags.
Todd, that was Paddington. In which the van said taxi until the door closed and it was revealed to in fact be a taxidermist.
I mean, it's one opportunity, anyways. We can do several gags of that nature.
Okay, so we have Blackbush here. Are we going to have any of our newer characters as well? Anti-imperialism. L. Ron Hubbard is off in the other world. Jeff Basilbob. Would they deign to come to something like this?
I don't think they would ever actually come to hang out at the market. If anything, even Annabelle is pushing it a little bit with Monsieur Burnett. But she's never been one to dodge a market. She likes a good deal as much as anybody.
Yeah, I guess they are characters of much more consequence, I suppose.
Basilbub is still in space, trying to get back to heaven.
Right, of course.
Anti-imperialism is too busy, more or less extracting valuable resources from another country while more or less keeping it under military occupation.
Okay, I don't think I have any other characters that stand out enough. Oh, do we have somebody else wearing the bunny suit plot of contrivance? The bunny suit of plot.
Bunny suit of plot contrivances? Never mind. That definitely can't be stolen because it's necessary for the plot now that nothing gets stolen from us. But that would be an interesting thing to have stolen.
Oh, interesting. Could we have something? Somebody? Could somebody be trying to steal it, but we had left it somewhere else than somewhere where it usually is, or there's some other sort of distraction, and that's how we all start realizing that things were stolen?
Did we even bring it?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I imagine we probably left it at home. We didn't bring anything really worth stealing.
Yeah, I guess maybe at some point I'll turn to you and maybe or one of us will turn to the other, whatever, and ask to use it, and we'll make the specific point that no, this wasn't supposed to be an adventure. We're working.
Yeah, we're here on a job. I left it at home.
Yeah.
This is work.
Okay. So how exactly do we realize we're in the middle of a conversation and somebody just starts saying, "My something's stolen. My something's stolen. Hey, my something's stolen." How do we understand? How do we come to know that things are disappearing?
Yeah, basically people just start announcing that their stuff is missing. They're going to have to start looking around. Somehow the sleuth booth pair are going to they're going to catch wind of it. Either something gets stolen from them or they hear that somebody else is talking about their own theft. So
And so
once the sleuth booth pair gets involved, they start discovering thefts all over the building.
And then they come to us and ask if we've lost anything, and we say, "No, I don't know.
That's
We've
correct.
only had one visitor all night. He seemed nice." But they don't jump to a conclusion. So somebody else overhears that conversation and goes, "They didn't have anything stole from them."
Yeah, probably won't take long before people start getting mad and oh, oh, baseless accusations like that. But in our world, it really doesn't take long before people start losing their fucking mind.
I mean, one scenario that I'm imagining is like the sleuth booth sets up a whiteboard in the center of whichever room they or the center of the house, I guess, and they've got a chart of all of the shows and what was stolen from them, and somebody notices that hey, the Tucker and Todd show didn't have anything stolen.
Do they even say our names correctly?
Oh no, they wouldn't, would they?
I think it would be funny if they didn't even know really who we were and didn't respect us enough to get our names correct.
The Chucky and Bob show.
Well, no, they probably just use a couple of different T names. Trevor and Bill.
Trevor and Bill. Trevor and Ted. And zombie Ted says, "No, I'm Ted." And then he notices that Skylar's gone.
I forgot that Ted was still there.
I don't know. Is it a guy who's actually I don't know if Ted is there. Ted's dead. Ted
Yeah,
vegetable.
if Ted's a zombie there, Basil Fawlty's gonna fucking kill him.
Oh, that is a joke worth doing. Ted comes as a zombie and then we see that Basil Fawlty kill him and nobody cares.
Basil Fawlty kills him, and then somebody has to say, "Ted's dead, baby. Ted's dead." Whose motorcycle is this? Not a motorcycle, baby. It's a chopper. Whose chopper is this?
Ted, yeah, Trevor and Ted, I think I like. Or Trevor, Trevor and Bill.
We need to keep the cadence relatively the same, so a two-syllable name followed by a one-syllable name. Also, when they say it, they have to say it right next to a sign with our actual names on it.
That's always fun.
Hangs over the door entryway into the room that we're in. All the casts that happen to be in that particular room.
Trevor and Tom.
That's the one.
It's got to have the vowels too.
Yeah, it keeps a lot of the sound the same.
I mean, each time somebody says something, like each time that the joke is made, we can do a threes with this one as well, where it gets progressively worse. It starts as Trevor and Tom, and then becomes Bubby and Bill, and then it just becomes Morgul and Splunch or something like that.
Morgul and Splunch. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Especially if it's not even the same person saying it, and it's more like a game of telephone.
And you just see us getting progressively sadder.
Yeah, it's like we're becoming more obscure as the evening progresses.
I think that's funny. Okay, and then so we have baseless accusations thrown at us, but the sleuth booths check up for us and say, no, that doesn't make any sense. You have no evidence. Do they have any evidence to point to what it is? It could be?
The sleuths, I mean, obviously they have to find some evidence, because otherwise there's no reason for Columbo to kill Skylar White except that it's my own power fantasy. And that's not good enough. So obviously they have to find some kind of evidence, either through interview and testimony, or one of the sleuths find one of the items that's been stolen that was dropped or otherwise left behind. And they have to find it in such a place that would potentially lead them to finding the rest. So maybe they find it like at the in like old-fashioned houses where you'd have the attic where you have those pull-down stairs.
Right.
Let's say they find the item right underneath the pull-down stairs. They're of course pulled up at this point, but that's where they find one of the items is on the ground there. So they're about to proceed into the attic, but then Skylar gets bodied.
Mrs. Bodied.
Didn't miss her this time.
Okay, and so is everybody at this point? Is everybody? Have we split up? Are we all looking around for clues, and that's why everybody's in different rooms?
That's a recipe for ruining all the evidence everywhere. So yes, I think that's what we should do. That's what Columbo wants. In fact, Columbo is the one who suggests we do it.
Everybody, we gotta split up. Go search for evidence,
Yep.
clues.
Columbo has taken total control of the investigation, and much to the sleuth booth pair's, protest, he's deputized everybody and assigned them pairs and told them to start looking around for evidence. Turn over cushions, lift up floor rugs, turn over furniture, whatever. Basically, everybody's just going to mess up the place.
Oh, okay, so since everybody is going to be in pairs, then whoever Skylar's buddy was is the first suspect.
I'm still okay with Walter White showing up.
Well, yeah, now that he's not the detective, he can be there. They can show up together.
In fact, he's probably the one getting yelled at by her just as the lights go out and she yells that she fucked Ted.
Okay, they're just enacting that scene.
Yeah.
So is the idea then that, oh no, I'm going to forget his name. Why did Glenn Howerton come to mind? Who plays Walter White?
That would be Bryan Cranston.
Right, couldn't remember the name. So is Bryan Cranston there as Walter White then? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, and he's just getting yelled at by Skylar White.
But is it somebody else who's dressed up as Mrs. White? Is it Sky? Is it?
I think it's definitely going to be. It's going to be Skylar, and we're going to need her to radiate that Skylar energy.
So it's just literally those two characters. That's funny. That's even funnier, I think, than maybe having somebody dressed as them.
Well, yeah, I guess they're not even in costume. They're just there as themselves. They're adults. They don't celebrate Halloween, is what Skylar White says, which is why we all hate her.
How are we going to reveal costumes at first? Or how are we introducing this scene? How does it open? Are we introducing people? Because I almost feel like that would be somebody at the door going, ah, and Mrs. White and Mr. White too. And then the camera cuts to Mr. and Mrs. White.
I think that's a pretty good way to start the scene as somebody is entering. There's got to be, it'll be open door because it's a market, so people just can come and go as they please, at least until thefts start being reported. The sleuths will shut the doors then. But yes, it's open door, but there's going to be somebody at a table somewhere greeting people as they enter. So somebody gets to say Mr. and Mrs. White.
Is it Tim Curry, or is it a man dressed as an Indian dinner dish?
Can you do a Tim Curry voice?
Oh my god. It would have to be Frankenfurter. That's the...
I'm afraid so, Brad.
I'm just a sweet transvestite.
Good enough. That's one of the only lines from that entire film that I still remember burned into my brain is I'm afraid so, Brad. And I don't know why.
Janet.
Okay, now that one's back in my mind. Damn it, Janet, I love you. But I'm afraid so, Brad is the only one that never left.
I'm thinking, for the record, next year's Halloween special might be a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Well, then at the very least, we'll be able to bring Tim Curry back if he happens to be there as, Rocky.
Oh,
not Rocky. He's not Rocky.
Is he Frankenfurter in our sketch that we're doing now? He's there as the butler for Clue, but he's dressed as his Frankenfurter character.
Do we feel confident putting Frankenfurter in there? Has his image aged well?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know what Gen Z thinks of Rocky Horror.
Maybe it should actually just be Tim Curry, and when people make Rocky Horror references at him, he kind of just frowns and tries to laugh it off uncomfortably.
No, he wants everybody to get over it. Like, it's 2021.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wasn't Tim Curry also Pennywise?
Yes.
Do
you want him to show up as the killer clown?
Not specifically.
Because if he does, he still has to say, I'm afraid so, Brad.
I like the idea that Tim Curry is going to be showing up in every single one of our high school. I was about to say High School Musical Halloween specials. He's a butler. He's not. I mean, is he Tim Curry covered in curry sauce?
Do you think he should be?
I can't. Maybe he's just Tim Curry. I like your idea that he's just Tim Curry. He's not even in like a nice outfit or anything. He's just there greeting people. This is what I do.
Oh, he can't be in like a nice dinner jacket?
Or does he have his own podcast?
If he has a cast, he's going to be in costume. Everybody who's a caster is in costume. It's just in the spirit of things. Maybe he shows up in costume, but he's actually his character from Beauty and the Beast.
What is that?
Maestro Forte, he was a massive pipe engine that shook the entire building when he got mad.
Oh, that's from one of the DVDs or I guess VHSs.
Yeah, The Enchanted Christmas. But he was the best. He remains Disney's best villain ever.
I kind of like that.
If any Disney villain were to have a podcast, it would probably be Maestro Forte. Maestro Forte.
He does like a music podcast. I like that. Okay, yeah. So it starts with Maestro Forte introducing. He's not introducing. He's not like announcing. He's just greeting people as they come in.
Yeah. So I mean, if he's greeting people, does he actually have a cast? Maybe he just has his booth set up right at the entryway because he's a greeter too. Like, does that make sense?
I'm wondering. It would be kind of funny if his podcast was about greeting or welcoming or introducing people's.
How long do you think that premise would go on?
It wouldn't work very good as a long-term podcast, but it works as a joke for the scene.
But I thought you wanted to have him come to every Halloween special. Or does he serve a totally different role in every Halloween special?
I saw him as serving a totally different role in every Halloween special.
So he just eerily happens to be present, but only on Halloween.
Just because he has so many Halloween kind of flavored characters. Are there any other actors with more Halloween flavored characters? Should Jamie Lee Curtis be here?
If she is here, she's hiding in a closet somewhere holding a knife, just like, get away, Michael.
Oh, I thought she would be doing a yogurt podcast.
Why is that?
Because she does those Activio yogurt commercials.
Oh man, I sometimes forget that other people still watch television.
I mean, those were from 15 years ago. I don't watch TV.
I think I stopped watching TV around that time. But if you think you could, I mean, if we want Jamie Lee Curtis to do a yogurt podcast, I think she needs to actually dress as Michael Myers.
Oh, and she gets accused too.
She tries to talk with a mask on, but it muffles her voice, and it makes her very suspicious. So when she gets accused, she finally has to, with a huff, take the mask off and identify herself.
And everybody's like, oh, that's Jamie Lee Curtis. And then they just immediately ignore her.
That's what everybody else does. Oh, other characters that have done really Halloween-y stuff. I mean, there's always Johnny Depp, but that's just because Edward Scissorhands counts for like 3 characters worth of Halloween creepiness.
Yeah, that's true.
And then there was Sweeney Todd, which was also pretty creepy.
Oh, I guess, I mean, if we're having mentioned Scissorhands, Vincent Price would be like a dead ringer.
I would love it if Vincent Price were to show up. But he'd be a zombie and he needs to be killed by Basil Fawlty too.
I like that idea. That's a fun voice to figure out how to do an impression.
That's a score of 2 zombies for Basil tonight. If anything, we could have Winona Ryder around and we can ask her why she keeps attracting creepy people. Because Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands were both like all after her. And I'm pretty sure the Upside Down is her fault too somehow.
Hey, Winona Ryder, I don't want to like victim blame or anything, but could you answer a couple questions?
Winona, please, because you seem to be at the center of so many creepy happenings.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Oh, I was going to say we're selling. I was going to say if we're doing a podcast, we're interviewing Winona Ryder.
I mean, there's nothing stopping us from having like an actual little microphone and stuff set up at our booth too, so that we can work while we work.
Yeah.
So we could be interviewing Winona Ryder and asking her why Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, and all that stuff in Stranger Things is happening all around her.
We're like leading her down a path. So you remember the events of Stranger Things, and you remember Beetlejuice, and you remember Edward. You guys were close. Would you say that there's something connected between all of them?
Of course, we're talking about you, Winona. You are the link.
Does she? She starts to accept that she is the link. She has a breakdown.
is it a breakdown or is it a breakthrough? And she actually kind of has a moment of clarity, and she realizes that she's the center of all of this creepiness, and like she figures it out, and then lightning strikes, and there's the sinister kind of lightning strike where it's like thunder and power goes out for a brief flicker, and the only light is the lightning coming in the windows, and then she's gone.
That's sort of a oh, that's interesting.
Wow, I'm sure that will never come back to bite us in the ass.
So is that part of the beginning? We cut from Tim Curry welcoming people as they're coming in the door, and then to us.
Well, we can't be doing an interview for the entire thing, so it does probably have to end pretty quickly.
Well, what is sort of the order of operations? How much time are we spending moving around this house, seeing all like what the market is, the fair is, before we get to the point of the plot kind of establishing itself and things going missing?
Well, here's the thing. Is the focus of the audience perspective going to stay on us? Is it going to follow us, or is it going to wander from room to room looking at the various casts as they're just hanging around plying their wares like this is an old-timey podcast bazaar?
I think it would do that because we kind of need to spend some time establishing what's actually going on.
Okay, so it begins with the Whites entering the building. They're greeted by Tim Curry, who he probably should be in a costume if we're going to have him come back every year as a different one of his spooky characters. So we'll have to decide on something for him, but that's not super important right now. So he greets the Whites. They enter. He takes their coats. He's like the doorman, but he's also got a booth of his own. And then from there, the audience perspective is going to start wandering to some of the cast, not ours. It gets to ours last because it's going to come to ours as we're right in the middle of our interview with Winona Ryder.
It's going to do a loop of the house, so we'll see each room.
Yeah, we're the last stop. So it's going to go to the other cast first. Like there's the sleuth booth, and the slut hut. They're across the hall from each other. They're in two different rooms, but their rooms are right across from each other, so they can stare daggers at each other through the doorways.
Not like those girls over there in the slut hut. Camera goes to the doors.
Would they be like audibly vindictive and spiteful towards the slut hut, or would they just be more passively scornful? I think the sleuth booth would have like a higher level of social conduct and behavior.
That's true. Yeah, they just kind of looked at those.
Yeah, they just look down their nose at these women who exploit themselves because it's better to be a detective. Detectives are cool. I guess we haven't really discussed the other casts. I mean, there's Miranda for sure. There's the singer room, so there's probably at least one other sort of band in there trying to sell their stuff.
Okay, should we use one of the bands that we got already then? Do you want to use that unsavory?
Yeah. Was that it? Unsavory?
Yeah, the milkshake, the jar of jam, and what was it? Oh, a chip.
Just salty but not savory?
Yeah, I think they're different.
They are, but they often go hand in hand. Just imagine some nice buttery mushrooms that have a bit of salty and savory flavor.
What is it? Umami?
Yeah, but I prefer savory because umami sounds like a nonsense word.
It's you, mommy.
It's not what you know what?
Not me.
You know what? Save it for Annabelle.
Okay, that's moo mommy.
No. Miranda is the moo mommy.
Okay, fine. Oh, what did you say?
Annabelle.
Oh, Annabelle, I forgot.
Annabelle is the badass pirate lady who everybody
She's
immediately
Space
latches
Mommy.
on. Yeah, she is Space Mommy.
Oh, we're gonna have to throw in, since she's there, I'm gonna have to have a Space Mommy moment, I think. I have a little hamana.
Oh, Todd's not over it.
No, never over it.
It's a strong, authoritative, and somewhat aggressive female presence. Maybe not aggressive, we'll call it assertive. She's definitely assertive, which checks every single one of Todd's boxes, which he's just overwhelmed. Poor Todd.
Sometimes I get overwhelmed.
So she doesn't visit the booth, but Todd probably sees her and gets tongue-tied. Because we kind of agreed that the only person who actually visits the booth is going to be Paperboy. Anyway, yes, the various casts are getting shown, and then the camera will stop on our room Like it'll stop at the doorway to our room where it shows like the Tucker and Todd show and probably at least one other. There's probably room for 2 cast booths in each one of these rooms. Then it enters our room and we're in the midst of an interview with Winona Ryder because she is so creepy, or at least she's got this creepy energy always around her because Beetlejuice likes her, Edward Scissorhands likes her, and the Upside Down is all up in her life.
What is she, middle-aged Winona Ryder?
Oh yeah, it'll just be like Winona Ryder from Stranger Things.
Okay,
She looks really good for 49.
I agree.
She looks way better than I do, and she's much older than I
That's a nice sentence.
am. And also, she doesn't look anything like me anyway.
Hey, Toots, you look much better than I do and much older.
You look much better than I do, and you're much older.
Okay, and then she disappears in a puff of smoke with
Like
some lightning.
like she disappears with the lightning strike because it turns out she's probably some kind of a witch, but she didn't know it. But I guess she has her epiphany. She probably cackles. She does a proper witch cackle. Lightning strikes. Everything flashes brightly, blindingly so with the lightning strike. And once like vision clears, she's gone. So we're like, oh, I guess the interview is over. To be fair, all of our interviews end really abruptly, and I'm just really glad nobody drove a bus through the wall this time.
Yeah, are we like, oh, so that was a good thing, right?
You're supposed to say it was actually a van. Todd is
was a-
pedantic.
It was actually a van. You ass.
Thanks, Todd. And it's at that point that I guess maybe we're doing our little bickering thing. That's when Paperboy walks into our booth as the missing no, and he greets us. Oh, of course, we're still Boris and Natasha, so probably sounds really funny for us to be arguing in our normal cadence.
Are we not bickering in our accents?
No, we absolutely break character to start talking to each other. So
Were we
that
interviewing
means
Winona Ryder in the accents?
I will if you really want me to.
That's kind of funny.
It would make us speaking in our regular voice much funnier.
Yeah, to have that contrast. Oh man, we gotta blaze through this a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting close to the wire. But I think we have a good. We spend a lot of time on structure and details, and now we're getting into like plot direction.
And I mean, we do have the month to air out some of the details in the text chat.
Yes, and we kind of already filled in several other sections of the plot too.
True.
As we got here, because we haven't quite gotten to the part where Skylar gets totally shit canned.
No, right now we're figuring out what does Paperboy come over? Does he want to have any sort of conversation with us? Is he giving us like admiration or something?
He comes by. He just wants to greet us, say that he's a fan of our work. He buys one CD, shakes our hands, and leaves. Like he's. Do you remember when Agent Smith managed to download himself into that human guy? That sort of weird.
You're me, I'm you.
He had that creepy energy about him, where he was like reasonably polite and nice, but also totally unsettling. He had this uncanny valley thing about him. I want to get as close to that kind of energy as possible for Paperboy. Like he radiates this kind of weird hostility despite his behavior being cordial and polite.
Yeah, menacingly friendly.
Yeah, it's just got to be weird energy, and we're even after he leaves, we're
like Anton Chigurh. What did you say?
Even after he leaves, we're still kind of taken aback by his sort of weird energy.
I was gonna say in that case,
Anton Chigurh.
Did we nail down a character from? He could be Anton Chigurh.
We didn't nail down an appearance for him, which is why I chose an appearance that doesn't have an appearance.
Oh right, you said the
missing no, yeah.
Missing
he just looks like he's just a glitch. He's gonna have arms and legs, but his costume is primarily the glitch.
Oh, I mean, have you seen Wreck-It Ralph?
Yes.
Alternatively, Princess Vanellope is a glitch.
Yeah, but Princess Vanellope is a little girl that looks like a desk troll.
That's true. A desk troll? Like, oh, yeah.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Everybody keeps those trolls on their desks. Therefore, they're a desk troll.
Everyone who has one. I think I had one when I was
Yeah,
a kid.
everyone who has one keeps it on a desk. So much so that a Google search for desk troll comes up with only those.
It does. I'm surprised. There's one image of a internet troll sitting at a computer, but that is it.
That was inevitable.
I'm surprised it's not all that.
I found a second one of a troll sitting at a desk, and a third, but most of these
They're in there.
are just the trolls.
Okay, but yeah, the missing no is better.
Yeah, because then he has absolutely no real appearance. Because I have no idea how to make him look, and it might be a running theme that his actual appearance is always obscured by something.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Like an Austin Powers boner.
Exactly like that. Okay, so he leaves, and we're sort of, rendered a bit uncomfortable by his presence. Even after he's gone, we still kind of feel a bit chilly about it. Shortly after that, the sleuth booth probably needs to be right next door to us, but somebody's gonna come by the hall, like walk by by our door, through the hallway by our door, over to the sleuth booth, whining about something being missing, loudly enough to interrupt our train of thought and immediately take focus away from us to follow them into the sleuth booth room where they're notified that there's been a theft. And then we proceed from there where the sleuths start going around asking other people if they're missing anything. Eventually they'll get to us, find out that we haven't had anything stolen, and within a few minutes everybody else is missing something. And so they're going to start pointing fingers at us, despite what the sleuth sisters might say.
Okay. Does they have a little scene? They pull out their little hat, their trilbies, and their magnifying glasses. And when we say that we're innocent, one of them stares us up and down with the magnifying glass and says, "He checks out."
I like that, as if it's some kind of, intent scanner.
Yeah.
Yeah, checks out. All right. And from that point, the sleuths begin investigating because now they found out that everybody's missing something. So there is definitely a thief out. And like it or not, we're the prime suspect. But as the sleuths continue their investigation, they start questioning people, including they also shut down the building, right? So nobody can leave after they discover that there's been a theft. They shut the door. There's only one entrance.
Right.
They shut the door. They set Tim Curry to guarding it. So are we really locked in here? I'm afraid so, Brad. So I finally got my moment.
You worked it in. And is he dressed as Pennywise so nobody wants to go near the door anyway?
Yeah, I think we should, especially because it is probably the most fresh in everybody's mind, and I think doing Frankenfurter might be a bad idea right now.
Yeah, sure.
Just seems like this is not the atmosphere for Frankenfurter.
No, it might be misinterpreted. Who, in fact, is another character misinterpreted.
Closely related to the missing, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, the investigation continues, and that's when they eventually find one of the stolen items on the ground right underneath where those pull-down stairs would be. And that is when Columbo decides that this investigation has gone on long enough, and we have to probably hear Skylar White berating her husband pretty much the entire time the sleuths are wandering down the hallway as they find that lost thing, because the conversation already needs to be in progress before she shouts that she fucked dead after the lights go out.
Do you think we could get away with using the actual audio from that scene rather than voicing it? If we've got other elements
would
going
it be
on over.
funnier if we cut some of that audio, or would it be funnier if we voiced it and gave Skylar a horrible nagging voice?
Just the most shrill, awful. That's actually kind of funny, yeah.
I will later, when we're finished here, I will send you an example of what I'm thinking about for Skylar White, both in terms of art style and in terms of her voice presentation.
Okay.
But that's when she bites the dust. That Columbo decides to derail the investigation and turn this into a murder.
An obliteration.
Yeah, that will completely take over the entire theme of the evening. Now nobody cares quite so much about their missing flux capacitor or whatever. That's right, I forgot there are still those hipsters around there somewhere. They're definitely one of the booths that get looked at before our interview with Winona.
Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, are all of the things that get stolen then like are they kind of like flux capacitors? Are there things that podcasters actually have no business having, but for some fantastical reason we have all this incredible technology?
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of these things will be stuff that can almost only be used for clandestine purposes too. At least one of these guys brought uranium.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Plutonium. Somebody has a Tesla coil.
Yeah, uh, like uh, like if you've ever played Wolfenstein, some of this stuff looks like it came right out of Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I like that.
Except for us, because we left all our cool stuff at home because we came here to work.
We're here on business.
But we have cool stuff. I mean, we've got a time travel door dimension hopper thingy.
That's true. We've got all the cool stuff. We just didn't bring it with us.
I mean, the time travel door is technically connected to the structure of the studio. We couldn't bring it with us anyway.
But Skylar White bites it.
Yeah, she dies, and then it becomes a murder investigation, which Columbo, the only real detective in the entire place, takes over immediately.
Does he volunteer to take over?
Yeah, probably because that's like he wants this investigation going how he wants it to go, right? So we probably have no business asking him. He's probably already there on top of it.
The sleuth booth kids run in and he like puts a hand up and he like strong arms them. Nope, we need a professional.
Yep, this situation calls for a professional.
Do not contaminate my crime scene.
And then he immediately orders us to go all over the house and contaminate crime scenes, basically.
Yeah, actually, yes, that is it precisely. Yes, that works better.
Yep, that's because he wants to ruin the entire investigation.
Chaos.
All right, so he takes over the investigation. The sleuth booth, who are actually more effective detectives than he is, are basically kept. They're basically given busy work so that they won't actually be able to do any real detecting. Well, he's leading the investigation into the ground on purpose, while also assigning us to different sections of the house to start turning the place over and basically making it look like the Gestapo just got there, or rather just left, I suppose.
So does he kind of give us like he gives us tasks that sound like they're kind of crime scene investigaty, but amped up a little bit. So instead of dusting for fingerprints, we have like a broom or something.
We have steel wool.
Oh yeah. Go scrub for fingerprints.
Yeah, we wind up scratching the shit out of everything.
The old antique house. Yeah, we ruin all of the patina.
Yeah, just as planned. That's the perfect thing. Give a couple of idiots some steel wool, tell them to scrub for prints.
I like the idea of, okay, did you guys find anything? And it zooms out and there's just this awful like track scratched through all of the wood.
Even in places that we had no business searching through, like there's probably just like a line of steel wool scratching all the way down one of the hallways where I just like held my hand against the wall and as we walked. Because why wouldn't Tucker do that? There could be fingerprints anywhere. You never know.
Okay, is
Now,
somebody
yeah, eventually we will have to find all the stuff.
well, because are we trying? Do we have any idea what we're looking for? Are we making any sort of joke about how we can't determine the murder weapon because it looks like it was all of them?
Oh, definitely. When somebody asks Columbo, what was used to kill her, he just has to say everything. Look at this. We got a knife wound. We got a hatchet wound. She's clearly been injected with poison.
Or is it your classic joke where we ask him, "Do you think it was a knife? Could it have been a bomb? Do you think it was a gun?" And he just says yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I like that better. Because then that's an opportunity for Tucker and Todd to alternate between them as they're asking these questions. Was it a bomb? Was it a knife? Was it a gun? Was it an axe?
We just start slapping each other. A rope, slap. A candlestick, slap. It becomes a contest.
Yeah, and then he just looks at us. You boys finished? Yes. Well, what weapon was it? All of them. What do you mean? Was it an axe? A knife? A gun? Yes. She's been shot. She's been stabbed. She's been hacked. She's been blown up somehow. And one more thing. She's been poisoned.
So do we then now we make a little checklist and we're going around the house finding these specific things that he said it was all of these?
We're tearing the place up looking for the murder weapons. The sleuth booth people are not doing what they've been assigned. They're trying to find out what was stolen, but everybody's really reluctant to actually admit what piece of super illegal, awesome wizardry technology they brought that is now missing.
They're cagey.
Yeah, they're all very cagey.
How does this end? So are we going to solve it? We're not going to solve it. We talked about that if it was going to be somebody else.
Naturally, since the sleuth booth people found one of the items that were stolen, or rather, they find an item, confirmed that it was one of the stolen items, so they're going to go look in the attic. What do we
Right.
find in the attic? I mean, Paperboy is no longer there. He definitely took the hint to get the hell out of there once it became a murder investigation. I'm going to assume he took the rest of the stuff with him, but something has to be there, some kind of calling card, and also some other kind of evidence that would lead us to conclude what's happened really.
I was going to say maybe instead of making a weapon, he was making some sort of like teleportation wormhole shooty device. We go up there and we find one of the wormholes closing up that he left behind.
Is he interesting? Is he trying to, create like a handheld device that he can use to get into the outside anytime he wants?
Yeah. Like a portal gun to the outside.
It's a Rick and Morty 10-minute adventure.
I get it literally is.
Oh,
Yeah,
now
I guess
I
we
want
have to
somebody
solve
at the party to be dressed up as Rick. I guess it's not a party, but it is a party to me.
That could be Columbo.
Would he be better as Rick than as Grandpa?
It might be kind of funny, actually.
I think it would probably be pretty funny.
You do both realize that Rick Sanchez is quite literally a grandfather. He could be a hybrid of the two.
Especially if a portal gun actually gets used. Okay, so in that case, whatever item was left behind turned out to not be required for the portal gun, or maybe it makes the portal gun not work as well for some reason.
Oh, that's the thing that we could uncover. He obviously needed a ABC, but he grabbed a DEF, and that only gave it something. He's obviously trying to something or other. But like, we start piecing it together based on, oh, he thought that we were going to have one of our pieces of technology or whatever from the spaceship. He thought that we were going to have something at our booth. That's why he visited us last. He needed the thing from our booth that he thought we were going to have, but we didn't have it, and that's why we had nothing stolen.
That's a good idea. And since we didn't bring anything, he had to kind of make do.
Right.
So whatever piece that was dropped was actually just left behind because it turned out to just not be adequate. But that is what leads the sleuth booth people into the attic, where they find either the portal or like some kind of like weird scorch mark or like a puddle of ooze or some other kind of telltale sign that is left behind by the portals.
Mm-hmm.
Something that it wouldn't do if it had all of its correct parts, so that it would be totally untraceable. But he's gonna escape, and we only sold one CD.
Oh, is it a machine that's up there? Oh, he wanted to, because I was going to say maybe instead of no, it needs to be a portable thing. It doesn't make sense for it to just be like a gate and then it depowered or whatever.
Yeah, no, a portable portal gun would be the best thing he could ever have. But yeah, it leaves like a residue or something something that can be traced. And he goes to Thailand.
The one place we'll never go.
Just in case anybody wants us to actually try to follow him.
Does he leave a little note for us? Like, I heard your podcast last week. I know you never go to Thailand. Don't come and find me.
Well, he has a calling card. Like, he's been leaving, newspapers?
Yeah, that's true.
He leaves us a newspaper, and maybe somehow the newspaper actually says his message in it.
In a roundabout way, or just like verbatim, there's a story that is literally
verbatim. Somehow he has made this entire newspaper, and all of it is just like gibberish, except for the one page that it's open to, which is the message for us. I know you'll never come to Thailand. Ha ha ha. And now we need to figure out how we conclude this. I guess everybody is going to go back to their booths now because their stolen stuff isn't coming back. Oh, right, and somebody's been killed.
Right, yeah, somebody killed. Do we conclude that nobody actually cares?
Yeah, I think everybody kind of just starts packing up, and the sleuth booth detectives are probably going to point out that a woman has died, and everybody in the entire place, especially Walter White, will probably just shrug their shoulders and be like, "Yeah, I've had enough of her."
Yeah, Walter White is trying to confirm. So you're sure there's no way this can come back to me, right? And then he walks off celebrating.
Actually, I think what he's gonna say is, "You're sure she's dead?
You're positive? He's kind of nudging her with his foot.
You're absolutely sure she's dead. She can't ever. She's gone forever."
Oh, is he asking somebody who's in like a sexy nurse costume?
No, no. Maybe he's asking a regular nurse. I don't know why we have one. Nobody called the police. Nobody called an ambulance. Everybody's just kind of packing up their things. They're like, "Oh, the evening is over."
It's just somebody who's there.
He's probably asking Columbo, who's standing over the body, still kind of staring at it as he does his evaluation.
So in that case, then, so do we go back to what we're doing, or are we like, well, I guess this night's over?
Yeah, we're pretty much packing it in. The doors are open. Tim Curry's no longer guarding over them. The investigation's concluded. This woman is dead, and no one cares.
So does it kind of conclude with us walking out the door, kind of being like, oh, well, that was actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be work.
Well, it was pretty boring up until it became an adventure.
Or we're almost mad. We're like, I really thought we were going to get away with not a single bit of adventure.
Yeah, if anything, we're tired of adventure and we'd just like to get some work done.
I don't know why these always have to devolve into unprofessional antics.
So we lament that the evening actually became exciting.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I guess we like kick some dirt and be like, rats, only sold one album.
Oh, well, there's always next year. And then that sets it open for another one next year.
I mean, not that we can only have markets once a year. I'm losing you.
Do we finish off with some here now?
Start again.
Am I here?
You are here.
All I was saying was, no, we don't have to have markets once a year, but we only have Halloween special once a year.
Naturally, only one Halloween special a year. Maybe we do only show up to the market once a year. That would make it even more of a defeat to only sell one CD.
Oh, sorry, you got cut off. What, something about defeat?
It would make it even more of a defeat if the market was actually only once a year and we still only sold one CD.
I kind of want to make it some sort of reference to the fact that it will be repeated. Maybe not there's next year, but there's always next Halloween.
Maybe next Halloween it'll be quiet.
And then is there some sort of the camera lifts off and goes off to the outside and we catch up with whatever Paperboy is plotting and scheming as he like tackles the credits?
I was actually thinking that the camera would pan out away from the house and look up into the starry sky with a great big full moon, and Winona Ryder would fly by on a broom.
Oh, that's so much better.
Still cackling. And then it just ends with like a happy Halloween, and then ta-da!
Okay, I like that, yeah. A question. When she disappears, when she realizes she's a witch, does she leave a witch and broom-shaped hole in the ceiling, or does she just disappear?
I think she should just disappear because we've never had a ceiling before.
No, that's true.
Yeah. Either she legitimately disappears, or like the lightning strikes and she's actually hiding behind a potted plant and she sneaks out of the room surreptitiously when we're not paying attention.
That's fun too.
But it gives her a bit of credibility as a witch to just actually disappear.
She disappears, and there's a little sound effect. Is there a puff of smoke or no when she disappears? Because I see like a puff of smoke, and then a witchy voice says "poof" as the sound effect. Poof!
Did you hear that over the thunderclap?
Yeah, all at the same time.
I don't know if you'd be able to hear it over the thunderclap. And with the entire screen basically whited out by the lightning, I don't know if you'd see the puff of smoke.
Well, maybe not.
That's what she did. She used it all as cover. If we want to include a puff of smoke, there can be a lingering little cloud that's still there afterwards, but it quickly fades away.
Yeah.
Maybe the cloud has the word poof written in it, and one of us like fans it away with our hand. So it breaks up the cloud.
That's very fancy.
Okay. It's a cloud with poof written in it.
Yeah, it's the word poof made out of clouds.
Oh, that's even better. It's just bubble letters poof made out of cloud. Yeah.
Shaped cloud dust. Yep.
Okay. We're over time, but I think we've ended it okay.
I think we cobbled together something fairly cohesive.
Yeah, even if the writing portion of it was done a bit Tarantino, I have to go back and piece it together in the correct order in the script.
Yeah. I will make notes while I do the editing and then kind of give us a little document that we can work on.
I'm excited to get started on it very soon. Well then, I guess that means I'm Tucker.
And I'm Todd.
And this has been a show, for now anyway.
This has been a show, and you've been an audience. Thanks for coming along.
And happy Spooktober.
Happy Spooktober.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Craig.
You mean good fright, Craig?
Fuck Tucker. Tucker sucks. And fuck Tucker's friend, Todd.